At what point did you decide, maybe this isn't just going to be a temporary short-term thing, but actually I could see myself building the next chapter of my life here in India?
So at what point it's quite, there was not like turning point, but I felt really, I felt really comfortable living here, to be honest. Like in the sense, I was living close to my office, to my the place where I was doing the internship.
Where was that?
It was in Indiranagar. So I've always stayed all my life in Indiranagar. We started the first outlet also in Indiranagar. Like Indiranagar is very close to my heart, kind of a thing.
And at that time, what were you thinking of in terms of a business? Because I don't think it had the same name that it does today, which is Paris Panini, right? Or if correct pronunciation would be Paris Panini, right?
It wasn't Paris Panini.
It was something completely different, right?
So, like, to give you a short, like, to make it short, like, basically the my directors at the internship, they were also this very open-minded people who like to experience different things. So when I told them about like me staying slightly longer, because after 3 months I was exploring the opportunities to open a business, but in the same time, see, as I said, there are a lot of opportunities here, but the idea is you need to focus on what you're good at. So I had this experience of working in the restaurants before in France. I accumulated about 4 years of experience. While doing my studies, I was working in the restaurants.
As a server, right?
Yeah, as a waiter. I used to also go behind the bar preparing drinks. I used to go also in the kitchen to help the chef. Like, it used to be like, I've always been quite flexible in terms of work, because I've always thought like that's the way you learn things. Like, see, you can be waiter, but you should always keep an open mind to learn different things. So see, even as a waiter or as a barman or as a chef, I even used to clean like the floor, the toilet, everything, like from the opening till the closing. But I've always felt, see, if you don't do that now, if you don't learn from the ground, like, then how are you gonna be how are you gonna become like a better person? How are you gonna learn things if you don't start from ground level zero? So like, that's how I started. So I've accumulated this experience back in France, and when I came to India, again, a lot of ideas, but I felt that the food, at that time in 2014, there was only Café Noir, which was serving French food, and I found it a bit on the expensive side. They were mostly located in Mall, UB City, so it's a bit fancy, and they have like a casual dining kind of concept, which was really it was good, inspiring, but in the same time I felt it's a bit sad for people here not to be able to experience French food, because it's on the expensive side.
It's not going to reach the masses.
Exactly. So I thought, like, the first thing that the first concept, when I was building the concept, I thought like it would be like kind of bringing affordable French street food to Bangalore, like gourmet quality food, but in a street food format.
I remember when I was younger, I actually went to Paris. I had no plan. It was sort of an in-between moment in my life, and I just remember like loving the food. So would order street crepes and all these other different kinds of food.
Baguette or galette.
Very like touristy things, right? But it was so delicious, right? So you're kind of trying to take that experience of being on the streets of Paris and bringing it to Bengaluru for everyone here to experience, which it's amazing. It's a beautiful concept.
That's correct. So what I had in mind was more like see, here in India we have a lot of street food. People love street food, but it's not necessarily like done in a clean, safe way. So what I thought is, starting, so I had this idea of bringing French street food to Bangalore. Then it came to what product. So the product was, to start a food truck, it needs to be like quite, your setup needs to be quite efficient, because you have only that much of space, you have only that much of storage, you have only that much of equipments to serve the people, and yeah, this area is quite restricted.
But before we get there, I just want to know why a food truck? Why not, like for example, Biraja from Biggie's Burger? Why not a fabricated booth, right? Or maybe like a ground floor sort of arrangement, like just a normal cafe? Why was it a food truck?
So this story came, we brainstormed with my partners, and we actually thought at first to start a bistro. Like we wanted to start a casual bistro where we serve wine, we serve beer, where we serve meal of the day, because it's a tradition in France. It's very casual atmosphere, but we found it very difficult to find a space. We were a couple of times we were about to sign a space, but the landlord suddenly changed this decision to give us the space. So like we struggled a couple of months actually, and we came to a conclusion where like, let's start something smaller. Let's start something smaller, something that is more personal. Like we had this wave in France of food trucks as well in US, and that was quite a good like successful stories and wave in Europe and in US. So we thought, why not like changing from this bistro, more dining experience, to this more casual atmosphere. And since people love street food out here, we should be able to like get a spot in the street as well as serving and be able to sell in the street, because street food is so big in India.
Of course. And you see people with these carts, right? That's kind of the way that street food is manifested here in India, is that people put the all of the cookware and all the ingredients and everything into one cart, and they'll either like push it or pull it, I guess, sometimes. And so it doesn't seem like that big of a stretch to think, well, what if you motorize it, right? And even you see that actually there's auto rickshaws that have sort of little kitchenettes on the back. What if you motorized it and actually put it into sort of like a truck or a bus type of format? But I'm guessing at that point, 2014, there probably weren't a lot of food trucks here in India.
There were very few food trucks, and actually we were one of the first 10 food trucks to start. So it was quite a challenge for us, because even people not knowing what is food truck, people like even to deal with garage, because we had to modify the truck. So we got this school van from a school in Rajajinagar. So you see the yellow school van. Like a lot of people could relate seeing the van that we had, like an old Matador F307, because they could relate, because that reminded them of the school day, the childhood days. So it was quite a challenge, because we wanted to have this very customized truck. Like basically we wanted to show the kitchen to people, so that way they see what's happening inside the kitchen. They can see that it's clean, they can see that it's safe to eat, they can see that we are doing it like we have nothing to hide basically. So that was the concept, like an open kitchen where like people can see how we are preparing the food and how we care about the ingredients, how we care about the preparation, and there's nothing to hide.